Canoes and kayaks have been raced on whitewater since the 50s. It became a popular but small pastime in the United States. As the sport grew at home, Americans began to travel to Europe to compete at the international level.
Gets it through 25 and now comes back upstream through 20.
Before the Olympics in 1972, the Americans had not had a big success.
Say, this may be something to watch. Jamie McEwen.
A young camp counselor from Silver Spring, Maryland, changed that on the Augsburg Whitewater course.
Those eddies that are very dangerous, a lot of holes in them.
Jamie McEwen surprised everyone, including himself, with an Olympic medal.
No American has ever won a medal in canoe slaloming.
European domination of the sport no longer seemed inevitable.
Look at the determination and grit.
Jamie showed a generation of U.S. whitewater racers what could be done.
Jamie McEwen, he does win the bronze medal. An astounding accomplishment.
This restored version of Fast and Clean is dedicated with our thanks to James Patrick McEwen.
Reaching, gone. Upstream into 9, very high. Stuff 9, here he comes. He is flying now. He's really got the hammer down.
We'd all kind of had these dreams of racing in the Worlds and doing well in the Worlds, and kind of almost unspoken dreams about being world champion. And here we'd pulled it off.
The road to the top is started by many and finished by few. Kathy Hearn, John Lugbill, and many companions travel that road in a sport called whitewater slalom.
My clothes were all wet, and I'd think, you really don't want to do this, you know. I'd start getting grumpy about it. I'd start thinking, why do they have dumb races in the snow like this? Then I'd think, wow, but if I race here, even if I don't do real well, but especially if I do well, I'm going to feel so tough.
That's what my life has been pretty much the last 5 years. To win a world championships, you have to paddle year round, and in the spring, like 2 or 3 times a day. Paddlers in the whole U.S. have started training harder and paddling more. It's taken more and more time. No more people that can just go out on weekends and make the team.
This first couple moves here, I don't see any problem with them, as long as you're not trying to blast through the first gate.
Well, remember what I told you about 4 to 5. You come out of 4, go a little bit high, get and snap that turn, and then come powering for 5. Then you go right up to 6 and do one of these numbers.
Right.
And you have that section real fast.
Right.
Speed with precision is the challenge, and athletes in 20-pound plastic boats seek it out on a playing field of whitewater. The object is simple. Pass through 30 pairs of red and green poles as fast as possible without letting any part of the boat, body, or paddle touch the poles. Speed with precision. John Lugbill races a C1, or one-man canoe. Canoe paddlers kneel in their boats and use a one-bladed paddle. There's also a two-man canoe. Kathy Hearn paddles a kayak. Kayakers use a twin-bladed paddle and sit with their legs outstretched in the bow. Slalom gates are run in sequence, bow or stern first, so that the green pole is always on the paddler's right. The racer's elapsed time will be his score unless poles are touched. Penalties of 10 seconds for each pole touched are added to elapsed time, and therein lies the key to slalom. Be fast, but don't hit the poles. Be fast and clean.
I don't know, whenever anybody talks about sacrifices that you have to make to train at a world-class level, I kind of think, so what? I really like to train.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! On that gate over there, on the green pole, as the boat came around, the end loop just rubbed across the bottom of the pole.
Paddling's definitely like the primary thing in my life. I spend almost all my time on something that's related to it. Training or racing or sleeping so I can train or training so I can sleep or...
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Give it enough more so that you don't have to wait there.
Okay, boo-boo.
Don't start it down.
3, 2, 1, go!
I think that because these courses are so tight, that's why my muscles are getting as achy as they are. And like 6 hours sleep.
These are crucial days for Kathy Hearn and friends. The World Championships are but a few months away, and nothing is better incentive than a chance to make the U.S. team and compete against the world's best.
Go!
But in one respect, whitewater slalom is the same as any other discipline. The pursuit of excellence takes work.
1, go!
The whole idea of seeing what you can do with your body and trying to get better and better at something using your body, that's the whole idea behind paddling. You know, it's like pushing yourself and seeing what the limits are.
You came out the upstream and went like that through the forward gate?
Yeah.
Back down,
Yeah.
forward, and then...
Then around and back through.
Becky had bad 10 up there. You got her.
Very bad 10.
We're training as much as a lot of athletes in other sports are training. You know, if you're paddling twice a day, every day, you've got to really be getting into the ideas of what technique's all about and the whole psychological thing of how to deal with concentration and nervousness and all of that.
That's what ends up separating you in the long run, is keeping the concentration up for all 30 gates, which is hard. There's a lot of training that has to be done for that. A lot of clean runs just piled on top of each other to build that concentration.
Pressure's on,
3, 2, 1, go!
There must have been a millimeter between my deck and the bottom of that pole, but I did not hit it. I was clean. I swear to God, on a stack of Bibles that high. I put my life on that I didn't hit that pole.
You can come down and have the loudest run in the world and say, oh, well, I can still do enders, and go out and pop off about 3 real good ones.
Sitting in one place in the river, which is just kind of a weird feeling. And this river that's rushing by and you're just sitting there. It's just fun.
some fluctuation in the water level. Even though this is a dam-controlled river, we can't always get all of the water or the right amount that we really would like to have. But they're very aware of it, and they're working very closely with us to minimize the differences.
On the last weekend in May, the Savage River in western Maryland plays host to the very best paddlers in the country. They have come here to try for a spot on the U.S. Whitewater Slalom team. A month from now, that team will field 4 boats in each class at the World Championships in Jonquière, Quebec. John Lugbill is one paddler who won't be taking these team trials lightly.
In '77, I thought I was good enough to win the World Championships, and there I didn't even make the team.
Making the team is what this race is all about, and no one is taking it lightly. Too many months of training are at stake. Training to instantly recall the next gate. Training to be fast, and as the judges see it, clean.
It's not necessary to touch the pole to make the pole move. The water can do it. If there's any doubt, was there a penalty, was there not a penalty? If you really have to think about it hard, then you are almost sure you have to give them the benefit of doubt.
Station A.
Don, be sure that your telephone contact knows to give you the boat number, the score, then repeat the score.
Could you report, please?
If they don't repeat the score, ask them to repeat it each time.
Who said that about tightening up scoring? We can tighten up the interval from this standpoint if you want to. We can go to a minute interval. That's up to you, finish. George, we're going to tighten it up. Minute interval. Boat number 16 coming online.
You know, the whole idea of this thing is that it's supposed to be some kind of fun. And as far as I'm concerned, you know, getting super nervous and butterflies in the stomach and all that isn't fun.
Paddling most of the time is really relaxed atmosphere. But when it came time for the trials, we were all just really tense, really nervous. Trials time, you either know it or you don't.
The scoring. We have official go for the race. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
A kayak is the fastest boat on a slalom course, faster than a C1 or a C2, and paddlers like Chris McCormick use that speed to the utmost. In men's kayak, the competition for time is so intense that a single 10-second penalty can push the racer out of the top spots.
Just as fast and clean, he's got 4:14.
Oh, go crazy. Yeah, start pulling my hair out. Start crying.
Oh. I just hope that's not tripping.
I think you really have to come hard out of 27.
Oh, we'll just power out of 27.
Right.
That's no sweat.
Yeah, but I think you don't want to hit the big wave.
You saw me hit that rock.
Yeah. And, you know, to go way around like that and pound on the rocks and everything, it's definitely slower.
Yeah,
but
it's
I
like
know C1 did it. So
yeah, I've done it 2 weeks ago a lot.
It may be a second run move.
Nah, for sure. Now more than ever, you have to take chances and push things a lot harder. The thing I found in individuals to not be blitzing, not going totally all out, but just under that, just control. You totally have to know where every gate's going to be and what your next move's going to be the whole way down. If you get out of the flow between two gates, you get out of line, it's just gonna cost you time. Just like going through, you're just going, like, I don't even say move to myself while I'm going through. I'm just, I'm not telling myself, well, this is a reverse gate, I gotta do the back sweep. It just kind of happens as I go.
This is a remarkable year for the C1 class. Like number 62, Kent Ford, there are 5 or 6 U.S. paddlers who, on their best day, are capable of a world championship winning run. Unfortunately, only 4 will get the chance to try.
Everyone else clean?
I guess I got a 10.
No, I got a 50 up on like...
5 of us knowing only 4 of us are gonna make the team. That's what pushed us.
There's no question that slalom racing at the national level requires strength. But women like Linda Harrison and Kathy Hearn, running the same course as the men in very competitive times, show how finesse can take over where brute strength leaves off.
Using the water is being out on the river and not fighting the current, trying to use your energy as efficiently as you can in combination with the energy from the river. You'll be a lot faster using the river than you would if you just used your own muscles, because the river's really a lot stronger than you are. And if you relax and let the river do some of the work for you, then it's a whole lot more enjoyable and it's a whole lot more efficient. Most of the women in paddling are quite strong, but there are men who are stronger, and in a lot of cases the men can muscle out a move where the women have to be a little bit more patient, but let the water work for them and use it to their advantage.
I really don't think we hit anything. We didn't hit a thing. I think it was...
A lot of energy is burned this weekend, physical and mental. Only 20 paddlers can qualify, and that means some hotly contested spots. Like in C1, where Kent Ford misses out because of a flip. The few seconds he uses to go back for that gate moves him from 3rd to 5th place, 1 place short of making the team. He is clean, but given the competition in the C1 class, he isn't quite fast enough.
That's clean! So is everybody so far. You flip? 3 seconds. Were you fast other than that? Sure. She's gonna be close to the mother. Yeah.
Man, I broke my boat somewhere because I'm sinking.
Yeah, that's excellent.
God, I'm 1.1 seconds out of 3rd, and I'm not on the team. 2/10 out of 4th.
I'm only 8/10 out of 3rd.
Too many 10s for this buckaroo.
Made it, Bum. Kid, Davey, you and me.
The line between winning and losing is a narrow one, and no one holds back.
All clean. Station E, all clean.
Finally, every boat is run, all the scores are in, and a new face from Oregon discovers her card is only 4 down from the top. Becky Judd earns a shot at the Worlds. This will be the first World Championships ever held outside of Europe. It is a fact that symbolizes both the emerging strength of North American paddlers and the traditional domination of the sport by Europeans.
2, 1, up!
Jonquière feels almost like the home court, and Americans are hoping to press the advantage.
1, 2, 3 down.
Yeah.
4 reverse, 5 up. 6 down.
The actual course is a secret until race day, but in setting up practice gates, paddlers assume the course will take them into the big hole or backwash halfway down.
Once you've gone in a hole and you're used to it, it's great, and you want to go in and again and again and again. The only problem is looking at it thinking, wow, that sure is big, and I'm sure in a little tiny boat, and boy, am I going to get munched.
Well, when's the march and all that?
Oh, yeah, I've seen it in the program at 15 hours, and I've seen it at 19 hours, and I'd rather believe it's 19 hours. 3 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Let's go for the 7 o'clock.
I'd say that that's right in the middle.
7 o'clock isn't.
That's true. Should we march down the course?
Yeah, let's go at 7 o'clock on the parade.
Let's go. Well, if it is, then we won't have a practice.
Well, we'll stay here. We won't go to the parade.
Parade?
Your first World Championships, and not letting you
I want to
go
to the parade.
La Belgique, Belgium, Belgium, l'Allemagne, West Germany.
I think that all of us are always looking for the ultimate run, you know, and you're always hoping that your next run on a race course, or preferably some run at the World Championships on the race course, is going to be the ultimate run.
They come from 20 countries. These are the world's finest paddlers, each hoping for the ultimate run. They are British. They are German. They are French. They are former world champions like Austrian Norbert Sattler, who know what winning will take. The standard is fast and clean. Of the top 20 finishers in the men's kayak class, 17 have clean runs. And number 50, Chris McCormick from the U.S., is among them. His run is fast enough to earn 5th place, 2 seconds behind Norbert Sattler, and that is the best American K1 performance in history. But for all the precision and grace, this is, after all, whitewater. And on more than one paddler's run, the river has the last word.
it's just the most exhausting course I've ever been on. We sure made it into an exhausting course. What a grunt.
Every little bit helps. Now this is all, I did all this because of the shoulder and it being kind of weak, so it's nice and warmed up.
The American C2s are having a rough time of it. But when the women's turn comes up, the team expects a change in fortune. One reason is Linda Harrison. Linda came to Jonquière hoping to post an unbeatable score. She had won the race on the same side a year ago, and most favored her to win again. She might have clinched it on her very first run had it not been for Gate 4. Watch the green pole. That touch put Linda's first run well within reach.
Well, in this race, I want to win big, so I won't be thinking about my competitors. I'll be thinking about having a good run for myself. I'm not paddling out of fear of getting beat by someone. I'm paddling out of fear of failure to myself. So if I have a good run on that course, no one's going to beat me. If I blow it, someone is.
Kathy Hearn, Becky Judd. Not one of the other women could better Linda's score, even with her 10-second penalty, and after first runs, things are just as most people expected. But in slalom, every racer gets 2 shots at the course, and only the best run counts. At a World Championships, the competition would definitely be there for second runs.
You probably don't want to do forward strokes after 17.
I think I got to come out with a backstroke.
Yeah, sure, backstroke. And that's going to send you downstream and partly turn you. And then you could follow it with another backstroke if you wanted to.
After having a first run that left me sitting in 4th place, I was a little bit disgusted and decided that I really didn't want to be in 4th place. There wasn't any reason for me to be in 4th place, and I'd better get my act together and at least pull off a medal.
Paddle really hard. Make sure you're in the center of the gate and get out to this.
Okay.
Okay?
I did have some doubts about my ability to come back from 60 penalties with a run that would put me in 1st place. I felt like Linda was really pretty safe where she was.
Up, okay? Yep. So up as far as you can into that hollow, and then when you hit, as soon as you start moving downstream, or you know you're gonna, that's when you stroke on the left. No. But I mean, you gotta be flying. Just pretend there's no tomorrow coming out of 21.
I think your strategy should be to win, but that you should try to do that by getting that clean run. No, hit nothing low, and just, I mean, the margin between you and Linda is so small that the idea of, well, we're going to break it wide open with a super run, I just don't think that's realistic. You know, 1 in 1,000, you might pull that off, but I don't like those odds.
I don't either.
And I don't like the idea of not seeing you up on the stand there. You deserve to be there, and you should have a medal. If you do, I think, a little bit slower and clean, you'll have it. You may easily win.
Really, after my first run, I decided that I did deserve a medal, and Bill telling me that really helped me believe it. You know, I knew I could do it. I knew that I had the ability to paddle as well as any of the other women there.
She's gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna wear it this run. Good. Got the guts too. It's all right. You can fall back on a run like you just had.
All through the spring, Linda Harrison and Kathy Hearn had been trading first places. But that was back home. Here at Jonquière, there are others to worry about. And while Kathy and Linda await their starts, Liz Sharman of Great Britain blitzes down the course clean and moves into first place. The tables have turned and the pressure is on.
Once you have the physical skills down, the thing that's going to make or break you is what's going on in your head. And for me, the way to paddle well is to relax and pay attention to the river and enjoy the river. Closing off all those outside concerns and just enjoying the matter at hand. That's when I'm at my best.
Kathy Hearn has a 10-second penalty on her second run, but she's so fast her overall score is a half-second better than Charmin's, and Kathy moves into the lead.
I'm used to racing my own race where I just go out and do what I can do, rather than going out and thinking I've got to beat so-and-so. I knew I had to improve my second run, or else I wasn't going to win.
A fast pace has been set, and Linda almost certainly needs a clean run to win.
On a whitewater course, everything changes with every single gate, every single move, every second. And you have to constantly change with those changes. There's so many variables in whitewater that you can't always take them all in hand at one time. John Kerr, I just forgot one of the variables. Every year you get wiser, and when you do that, you think, well, I'm that much better, so I can pull it off next time. It won't be as chancy. You set a goal. Goals are challenges to be met. When you don't meet them, you sit back and you've learned something from them, so you're even energized by your defeats. They keep you going.
Kathy?
The image that most people have of winning is that winning is the ultimate. Winning is the name of the game, but there has to be something deeper than that. To train so many hours, to drag yourself out of bed early in the morning to go running when it's 32 degrees outside and sleeting, you've got to have some kind of deeper motivation than just winning. The real enjoyment is striving to be the best that you can be. If you're the best that you can be, then you're the best.
But there is still another class to run, and the American C1s are leaving the rest of the world feeling like it is stuck in a hole with the clock running. David Hearn, Kathy's brother, comes within 4 seconds of being world champion himself as he uncorks a clean and fast run for the silver medal. Another American, Bobby Robinson, cleans the course 7 seconds behind David and clinches the bronze. And then comes John Lugbill. John had won the race before ever taking a stroke on this, his second run. He is the last boater down the course, and no one has beaten his first run. This run is an encore.
Everyone was telling me from about gate 3 on down, you won, you know, you won. And my concentration was really blown. It's really amazing that I stayed as clean as I did. You can't worry about having the clean run. You have to go for it. You get a 10, you can't let it bother you. You gotta keep going. I never quit. I just never quit.
That's it. It looks like John Lugbill, world champion.
You know, I like to win. I always try to win. I always strive to be the best.
Oh, that flashy stuff. Did you get in the medal?
I always try and reach a goal.
Q1 women, third and winner of the bronze medal from the United States of America, Linda Harrison. And winner of the gold medal from the United States of America, Kathy Hearn, 253.30 points. First, and winner of the gold medal from the United States of America, John Lugbill, 238.49 points.
I was 14 years old, I guess, when I first saw first award ceremony. I went nuts because I wanted to be up there. And it's just kind of a personal thing, just knowing that I accomplished what I set out to do.
No one really knows why you climb the mountain. It's not because it's there. It's because there's something within you that makes you feel like you want to climb it. It's the same thing with kayaking or anything you get good at. There's a lot of other variables in there that make you like it and want to do it. All those things come together and it's like a big net that you're caught in. I mean, it's a great net. You're really caught in it.